sit back like this, I look like freaking Lord of the Rings, like front and back, and I'm like. But then if I sit up like
this, posture. You were up like this most.
Yeah, that's when I'm really in tune.
Yeah,
really in tune. What you think of the presidential debate? Let's just get it over with.
You want to start with the presidential debate?
Let's get it over with. I'm tired. I was exhausted with it.
Yeah, it was interesting for sure. It didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go necessarily, but I didn't really know what to expect. I wanted to mainly hear Kamala talk and hear what she had to say. So, I mean, to be honest, I kind of felt like she did a little bit better in the debate than Trump did.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. I think it's funny, like, because I wasn't going to, like, watch the critique and the analysis and it was 1 verse 3 with Trump. You know, like, I just didn't want to hear it before, like, we talked about it. So I was like, I listened to, like, something on the way over here that was kind of summarizing, and that's kind of the gist, that Kamala came off a little more, like, way more impressive than a lot of people thought. Yeah. I think Republicans probably after that were like, oh shit, we got an election.
We got a race.
Yeah,
it's going to be a real...
Because, I mean, who knows? Like, I don't know. We're not embedded in that world. Like, who knows what the Republicans think or the Democrats think about where they're standing? I don't think either one of them really know. I mean, what are the main battleground states? Like Pennsylvania?
I think Pennsylvania.
North Carolina, Georgia, maybe? Just Georgia's like...
I think Georgia's they're mainly a Democratic state.
Yeah.
For the most part. I don't think it's like it goes back and forth.
I mean, I would say that debate would be for the people that are undecided.
Yeah.
Most people, I think, have already, you know, if you're a Republican, you're voting for Trump, no matter if you like him. If you're Democratic, you're voting Kamala, just because that's the party that you're voting with, which is kind of stupid, but that's just how
it's turned nowadays.
I think, I mean, we could go down opinions and rabbit holes and the Smortion. You know, you talk about all those issues, which none of them really answered any. You know, nobody had a solution to really anything. I feel like Trump addressed more, I guess, and maybe, I don't know, because I'm hearing it out of a certain opinion. Yeah. But I feel like, you know, when he said abortion and Roe Wade, states handle it.
Right.
You know, like, and in my opinion, like I've always said, I think they need to delegate a lot of stuff to the states.
The state level.
You know, like Tennessee, you can move next door to Georgia. You go to Florida. I mean, look what's happening in California. Everybody's moving out here because they're getting tired of the politics out there.
Right.
So I think a lot of that stuff can be pushed down to the state level and a lot of those issues that they're talking about. But I think the main two things, so we don't go down, spend a ton of time on it because everybody's nailing it. But from a tax perspective, what did they talk about?
We didn't really hear much. I mean, Kamala talked about her $6,000 child tax credit, which that's the only thing we really heard. And then they talked about the $50,000 deduction for new startup businesses, which who knows what that's going to entail. And then what, the $25,000 first time. It's basically it's basically $25,000 first time home buyer credit sort of thing, sort of, you know, that same sort of deal.
Which the housing market's gone up by like 700%. So like that's not really going to do much. But
that's really all that. I don't even know if Trump talked about tax policy at all.
I don't think he
mentioned. I don't remember him saying.
I was really surprised that he didn't combat the $50,000 for startup businesses and the $6,000 child tax credit.
Right.
Like, I'm really surprised that he didn't kind of nail on, like, so are you going to let what I did expire?
Well, it's like you said, is that going to do away with the 20% deduction?
And the flat tax rate?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because, I mean, if she's giving $50,000 for startup businesses, are you taking away his 20% deduction and letting all those also? So essentially, you're just naming it something different.
Yeah.
You know, and you've said that now to get voters, and you've lied again. You know, once again, we've lied and we've tried to manipulate people's minds to try to get them vote one way, and essentially you've done nothing. Yeah. Like, you've accomplished nothing. It's the same thing with, you know, when the $6,000 child tax credit it could be a good thing in a good situation. Right. You know, it should be used as an incentive
To have more kids, to mass produce.
Like, oh man, 2025 is the year to have a kid because I get paid $6,000 for some diapers. You know, like that's $6,000 I know is a lot of money. You know, and some people it's a lot of money, but it's not going to solve a problem.
No,
you know, $6,000 because you're already getting a child tax credit of 2.
Right.
So you're essentially getting. Are you going to get the 2 and the 6? Or are you going to get 8?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something that wasn't really. There's just a lot of like.
They definitely didn't go into any details. Like it was very surface level tax stuff, and then she also went into Trump's sales tax or whatever on the tariffs and stuff.
Yeah, he bounced that pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were some things that were thrown out, and it was like, good try. That one didn't stick. That one did. Yeah, I don't understand international policy to be able to debate it.
Yeah.
Much less, to be able to I don't know what we charge on tariffs to China.
Yeah.
I don't know if that does that, what this affects, what that affects. Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me in climate, fossil fuels, stuff like that.
Stuff.
Whew, that's what the thing is. We trust people to make that decision.
Right.
And do you really trust anybody in Washington, D.C.?
Well, that's the thing, too, is he goes back to, it's like, do you really trust either of these people? It's like, I don't know. I'd like to think that we can, but I don't know. I'd like to believe that half the stuff that's coming out of their mouth is true, because it's like, on the surface level, some of the stuff sounds pretty good on both sides, and it's like, are you actually going to do this? Are you going to be able to get this stuff done? Is it going to, what's the economical effect going to be on it all? And so, these tax policies that they're, because the first episode we talked about of Kamala's potential tax changes that are going to happen, it's like, well, the unrealized tax thing. It's like, how's that?
Why didn't he hit her on the capital gain tax?
I don't know.
I know there's a lot that was like, dude, there was a lot there. I think, and I don't know if there's something why he didn't bring that up. If she could have, but it seemed like she threw him off.
Yeah, for sure.
He probably could have, because that would have been one thing. I'd be like, oh, okay, well, you're proposing to raise capital gains to 47%.
Mm-hmm.
So how is anybody going to sell anything at this point?
Yeah,
I would sell.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me I got to give half to the government?
Right.
I wouldn't sell anything. Nobody's going to sell their rental property. Nobody's going to sell.
It's like, exactly, what effect is that going to have on the economy, on the real estate market, on multiple markets?
Yeah, if you raise tax rates up to more than 37%, and then somebody sells something, they could almost be paying 60% of their income in taxes. And then, so that would be something that I would just, if I was Trump, that would be something that I would nail on instead of trying to just. I think he got flustered. Definitely. And he went into DEFCON.
Oh, for sure.
Twitter mode.
He tried to go to the throat.
Yeah.
He tried to take her.
Which I'm sure that was their. Get him. If you say this is your trigger thing.
Get him riled up.
Yeah, which she did a good job.
For sure.
I was very surprised because I think if she stuck to those type of platforms, then she's going to do really well. But going to Pittsburgh and having this accent that's and then having an accent over here, stop. Stop doing that. It's not cool. You just come off. So it's like the campaign. This nation's backbone.
Right.
We are.
Yeah.
But that was. I was a little surprised that because taxes is usually a big part of the debate, and a big part of things that wasn't really addressed. I wish they had talked about conservation easements.
I'm sure.
It was I know a lot of people. I don't know if anybody even listens, but if you do, and you did. Conservation easements, from back to 2014, a lot of these things have been in the IRS hands going back and forth for years, and a lot of them, they're trying to settle these before the election. So if you got questions on those, obviously you could call the office, but that's kind of a hairy topic too. But I think I read this right, he's wanting to decrease the IRS by 40,000 people or something like that. Could be wrong.
Okay.
If we had Liza in our TV.
Yeah, fact.
I think our TV too, we're one step at a time.
Yeah, first piece of equipment.
Then a sign, and then actual microphones.
It's all coming.
Then actual guests, and then
Spotify.
Yes, Spotify. But yeah, I was the conservation easement's been that's been something that I came in the building today, just can a politician answer this? Can they just be like, hey, why now? Or, everybody knew that they were aggressive from day one,
right?
But it was in the tax code, so it was. Now you had people out there being like fair market value, XXX.
Right.
But yeah, I think if Kamala and that team wins, I do believe that a lot of money is going to be being divvied out in taxes. And my thing I would love to know, which I'm sure everyone would want to know, is can you give us a breakdown of where it's going?
For sure.
Give us just a little, which I would cause total anarchy probably. It's
oh yeah.
Where does Southeast Tennessee?
I don't think it'll ever be that transparent though.
Yeah.
To see where all that money's going to.
No, because I mean, it's going to, it's going to fund.
It's going to Ukraine. It's going to.
Yeah, it's going to things that nobody would agree with where it's going.
Right.
It could be like we're going to build an interstate. Well, why are you going to do it there?
Yeah. Exactly.
So, yeah, but that would be a good. I mean, you'd just love to know where that's going. But I was talking. I've already had this. I feel like I might repeat myself because I talked to 6 people today. So that's the first question is. But my and this may be stupid, but I think I was telling you earlier. Why not say away with medical? You can write medical expenses off.
Yeah.
No income thresholds.
Well, it's both parties could probably agree on something like that.
Yeah. Just be I mean, even Trump, that would be a great, hey, we're going to let everyone write off no income thresholds, no matter how much money you make, or, let's just allow tuition up to $25,000 instead of forgiving student loan debt, you obviously that got botched.
Yeah.
Going forward, going to school, we're going to give you a tax write-off of X.
Yeah.
The problem is kids don't pay it; the parents do.
Parents are paying it.
But it's in the kid's name, so you gotta kind of. But you feel like there's more things out there that could be on the tax side to benefit everybody.
For sure.
But I mean, obviously that takes money out of their pocket, So.
Yeah, there's always another agenda too.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just kind of to me, it's I mean, God, social media is just this is. I mean, it's you're not on there, so you probably are you on Twitter?
I've got
Which I think that's kind of. I mean, because people's opinions, you just look at it and you're just wow, is
people
this?
Are out there with some stuff.
Yeah, it's just they're so they're either pro. I mean, and that's what the January 6th they asked him that just say yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I wish that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
It's why can't you just say answer the question?
That was, and I'm trying to think of some other stuff off the top of my head from the debate that he kept bouncing around, and Kamala, she was bouncing around some stuff too. But I noticed Trump was doing more of the bouncing around questions. But
he just wanted to go straight to the wall and immigration.
He wanted to talk about immigration for sure. Millions of people flooding up.
Which what he said was obviously this affects inflation, affects the unemployment rate, affects the
crime rate.
Yeah, it's just the way he says it.
Yeah,
it's the way it's the simplicity and the repetitiveness of there's the vocabulary is very limited, but it's fun. But I mean, obviously nobody wants criminals coming into the country, But I don't know, but what's the plan for that? Nobody has said. I mean, he said, I'm going to ship people out, and they're how are you going to do that? You're going to go door to door?
Yeah. Well, he even said, I think he said he's going to get local police involved.
Yeah.
Go literally door to door. Yeah.
Yeah.
And try and do this mass deportation of people.
That'd be a mess.
It would be a mess. Yeah. Well, it's I don't know what the plan is going forward with that with either party, but I mean, I think obviously the Republicans want to secure the border and maybe finish the wall or whatever. But I do agree. I think there needs to be a legal process, of them. Okay, if you want to come into our country, do it the right way. Become a U.S. citizen. Go through the process and become a U.S. citizen. Because I mean, it's with them just coming in. You don't know what's coming into the country. Because with them comes drugs. It comes the crime.
Well, it's hard for us to in Chattanooga, Tennessee, to get a feel of what South Texas is like.
Sure. Yeah.
Or what Miami's like, or what LA's like when we're here.
Right.
Kind of nothing really is affect. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it affects some of Chattanooga.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect us as a business. It doesn't so it's hard to like be very opinionated when it comes to that, when it doesn't really
directly affect
right. You
us.
read about it, you hear
Right.
people talking about it, but
Right.
you know, it seems to me like a lot of people that are coming into the country want to work.
And see, and I was about to
You
get
know,
on that. It's like, well, we've also got
We got a bunch of lazy asses in our country
exactly.
too. You
A
know?
lot of those people coming up to work are hard ass workers.
And when's the last time you had somebody come work on your house that was a bunch of white guys?
It is, yeah.
I have. They didn't do shit.
Yeah.
You know, like they didn't do anything.
Seriously, that is something to consider. It's like a lot of the really hard blue collar workers
They're not out there.
Yeah.
They're not. They're not here.
Right.
I mean, even in Chattanooga, like try calling anybody to come work on your stuff, and you know, everybody's calling. You know, they're calling the Spanish population, and they're going to be all.
Because they get the job done.
Yeah, dude, they're working their ass off. They'll be there 16 hours a day to get it done to move to the next job.
Yeah.
But
so that's something to think about if we're going to mass deport people. It's like, well, a lot of these businesses could go under, especially in the service industry.
Yeah, how do you selectively I mean, it's an unsolvable problem.
Yeah.
Just like abortion, just like all these issues that have been around for years and years and years, and you know, it's just you stand one way or the other, but there is like a little bit of common sense. Like nobody wants you to carry the baby to 9 months or whatever.
Execute them at 7, 8, 9 months. They take them out, they kill them.
I was like, did I hear that right? And then the moderator, whatever they're called, commentator, moderator, she was like, no state has ever done that.
Yeah, it is not legal.
And then I was like, wait a minute, you can't say that.
Yeah.
Like as the moderator, I was like, wait.
It did seem like the moderators were a little biased.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit biased.
A little bit. But I'm coming from one side, and so I try to look at it in the middle and think, you know, I kept thinking, well, you're kind of setting him up. Like, why would you ask him about calling her not black?
Yeah.
Why would you even bring that up? Because you asking that question separates people.
Right.
So now you've let Kamala, that was obviously a platform for her to be able to be like, gotcha.
Right. For sure.
You know, so like you asking that question, you're you're creating a divide. So if you're really wanting to not be a divide,
right,
why would you even ask that question?
There's no point even
because he said it in a joke, like he was joking, like he was pretty much saying like whatever audience she's going to be in front of, that's what she is.
Right.
You know,
for sure.
and which that's proven to kind of be true.
Right.
Like she goes to Pennsylvania and she's got a Pennsylvania accent.
Yeah.
She goes to wherever. So I mean, I don't know. You just kind of always look for the good. Like hopefully at the end of the day, we're not going to get into World War III. You know, we're not going to. You know, like we're going to. You know, is inflation that bad that because of inflation people are actually not eating?
I don't think it's that. I mean, well,
is it that extreme?
And now, as of July, it was down to 2.9%.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty low.
Yeah.
I mean, it got to in 2022, it got to like 9-10% or whatever. I think Trump had said that was like the worst in history. I think it was close, but I'm pretty sure like in the 70s and 80s we had inflation that was up to like 12-14%, something like that. So yes, it was bad. We had a pandemic going on, but you know, no, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
To the point where people can't afford groceries and stuff like that.
I mean, I'm sure it's harder on your wallet, you know, for gas to be up, but is it like at a point to where it's like, man, bread's now $6 rather than $3?
Right.
You know, like, I just feel like that's just some of these points. I feel like it's just for them to get the vote. Like it's not truth, and like that's why there's certain. And I'll throw out our district attorney, like, you know, like when she gets up there and talks, like it's truthful.
Yeah.
And like people need that. Like people need to be like, no matter if you like their answer or not,
just don't lie to
she told the truth.
Yeah, don't lie to
You know, it's like people are so afraid to say something that it'll offend somebody or that it'll get them on the wrong side of the political, you know, hallway. Like just
it's like everybody is not going to agree on every single policy, every single topic. It's impossible.
No.
You know, so
but you got to be one or the other, or you're crazy, or you're offending. So
like I said, I think I said like 1 or 2 episodes ago, or first or second episode, I was like, can we not have some bipartisanship?
Yeah, right.
Like, is it okay for a Republican to agree on one policy of a Democrat, or vice versa? It's like it seems like if you're a Republican, you better agree on every single Republican policy and no Democratic policies, or you're
that's just doesn't
why?
work. Yeah.
Why can we not agree?
Well, I think a lot of it is too, like, people watch the news all day long.
Yeah.
24-hour news coverage on anything is awful. Like,
Yeah.
try to watch ESPN for 24 hours. Like, if they're just making up material.
90% Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, but I mean, even like Fox News and CNN and all of them, it's like 24 hours. They're making stories up so they have ratings and content and all that stuff. So, like, just turn it off.
Yeah.
You know, turn it off and unset your brain, because you're getting obviously manipulated by what they're saying.
A lot of pollution in there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're gonna get and some of the stuff, half of it's not even true.
Right.
You know, but
right.
yeah, I think
like the dogs and the cats.
Yeah. There are some moments where
I lost it.
Yeah, he's just he's one of a kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
shit talker.
He's a one of a kind guy. I mean, but you know, if you've seen like A Few Good Men, you know, Jack Nicholson has that speech at the end.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, there's a part of me that kind of wants somebody like that running the country.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you might call it crazy, and you might call him like he tweets out some dumb stuff, but like at the end of the day, like, and this kind of leads into like, it could lead into talking about the whole school shooting thing, and I could go on a rant. I don't know. Did we pass our? Hold on just a second.
I think we're pretty. Yeah, we can go.
Like 2 or 3 more minutes.
Yeah.
So I mean, the school shooting that happened.
Yeah.
Like, that kid, you know, you could dissect that kid and you could say, how does this happen? And it's this person's fault, and it's this person's fault, and it's gun control, and it's access to guns. But at the end of the day, there's no fear in kids anymore.
Yeah.
Kids don't fear their parents. Kids don't fear their administration. Kids don't fear their coaches.
Yeah.
Kids don't respect like they used to. Like when we were growing up, even you, whether it's schools, did you ever hear of anyone at your school saying, I'm going to shoot somebody?
Not, but if I don't specifically remember anything. Nothing comes to mind where I was like, oh, were we ever scared of that happening? Like, no, not really.
It was never even, like, it wasn't even, because my dad would kick my ass.
Yeah.
My mom would kick my ass. Like, I mean, there's no fear anymore.
Yeah.
And the same with politics. It's like, if they don't fear us a little bit, that scares me.
Yeah.
You know, because then that means they're I feel like I'm going conspiracy theory, but I mean, you just feel like they're constructing this, like, Dr. Evil plan over there, where they're going to, like, you know, somebody's coming up with some shit because they don't fear us.
Right.
So, like, I mean, you know, obviously, like, you could go religious and be like, you know, people that say you have to fear God, you know, and I don't want to fear God. Do you? I think there's a part of fear that, like, makes people kind of fall in line a little bit that you do need. It doesn't have to be a mass overreaction to it, but kids need to have some fear from their parents.
For sure.
I mean, they're
not going to respect them if they don't.
No, and that's the thing. Like, you're not going to respect the administration.
You have no fear of punishment. You have no fear of acting like a civilian.
No.
You know.
And you go to school.
Yeah.
And you know, one day you wake up and you decide, you know what? And like, it's like a suicide bomber. How do you stop it?
Yeah.
You can't stop it.
It's like John Goodman says in what's the movie? Why am I drawing? It's one of my favorite movies.
Big
When they're bowling. Yeah, Big Lebowski. Yeah, I was drawing a blank on that. When they're bowling, he says, "This isn't Nam. There are rules."
Walter, this is not Nam.
There are rules. Yeah.
I am the Wallace.
Yeah.
Listen, Walter's a shoot us! I don't
roll.
on Sabbath. What does he say?
On the Sabbath.
Oh, the Sabbath.
I don't roll on the Sabbath.
Yeah, he's in there. He's like, dude, I fucking told you I don't roll. Here's the guy. They got a picture of Richard Nixon bowling in the dude's house. Oh yeah, like you look when he's laying on his rug. There's a picture of Richard, and he's like listening to pins break.
Okay.
That movie's great. That's good. But yeah, that's what I thought of the whole time about like the school shooting and like how people they're going to go because no telling how we're going to overreact to that situation. Yeah. But it is a situation that's serious, and like I don't want my kids, you know. I don't want them to have to worry every day, like, is today the day that somebody brings a gun to school or somebody today that, and I know, like, the automatic weapons, like, Jesus. You know, it's like, how do you give a kid that age access to just go and get an automatic weapon? Because I mean, if you just brought a knife, you know, he may get one, but he ain't gonna get and somebody's gonna stop him. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to start putting more security in schools, elementary schools. You know, but I mean, you still can't stop. Like, if somebody comes in with the mindset that I'm willing to die today, it's like a suicide bomber. You know,
all you can do is try to control it. And you know, them saying take the guns away, you know, which I think is a super radical idea, but that wouldn't stop it either. You're gonna get guns even that probably put more just guns out there.
Make Mexico more richer.
Because it's like, oh, well, now we
black
try to
market
get it illegally. It's like that's not the answer.
People are gonna. You can't. If you start taking people's gun rights away, then I mean, they can't protect themselves. They can't. You know. You know. So I mean, there's no magic wand. But I think if you feared your parents a little bit, and you fear, like, you respected, you know, you have to respect your parents. If you don't respect your parents, then you're not going to respect your teacher.
Right.
You know, you'll have cases, but the majority of kids are not going to respect their coaches. You know, they're going to, the first thing of adversity, they're going to flip their middle finger and they're going to be gone, and then you've lost them. So, I mean, I don't know what you do in schools. I mean, it's you know, you got to have resource officers, you got to have those things, but guess what that costs? Money. Where do you get money from? Taxes. So, you know, it kind of just
it's full circle.
It's
full circle.
But so that's that was an exhausting night last night.
It was. I was mentally drained. And again, I tried to go in. I was trying to be very just objective. And just trying to
look at the debate.
Let's just hear what they have to say.
Which, if you look at the debate and you take out everything else, I would say Kamala.
I think she did.
If you had to pick a winner, I would say she flustered him
for sure
and got him off track to talk about dogs and
cats
and things where just like it set him up to show how crazy it could be.
Right.
You know, like that's what it kind of. I think that was the thing, is like get him
riled
to
up.
Talk that shit.
Talk
that crazy stuff.
The racial stuff. Talk about the January 6th. Get him riled up, and it worked. Abu Banya. I sent him a picture of his house. You knew
what is it? What is it about dogs? Because didn't we say we killed him like a dog?
Oh yeah, he died like a dog.
A very bad dog.
No, I can't remember the whole story, but like Shane Gillis, of course, just tore that up. Abdul, you died like a dog.
But that's what if you go back and watch it, that's exactly what Trump. I never knew Trump said that.
Well, so I didn't go back and actually see that clip. I've only seen Shane Gillis make fun of him.
No, he says exactly word for word, just like that. Because I was like, he didn't say that. Oh, he did. He did.
Like a dog.
You know, like a dog, a very bad dog, or something like that.
So in the debate, he just says, he's like, we sent him a picture of his house. He knows what that meant. We're gonna bomb you. You don't stop.
He's like, and then they didn't do anything for 18 months or something like that. Which I'm okay with that.
I mean,
fear.
As far as that goes, and like potentially getting like the Ukraine Russia war stopped, getting the stuff going on in Israel with Hamas stopped. I personally would feel more confident with Donald Trump going in there trying to make these negotiations with these leaders than Kamala. I don't know if she has enough grunt about her to be able to make a deal.
Well, if she did, then why didn't she do it the last 3.5 years?
Right.
Or if they had that negotiating power, I mean, can you really control Putin from doing what he wants to?
Yeah, probably not.
No. I don't think there's any control. But I think if there's a businessman that's involved, I think, if you look at that part of the coin, like, he is a businessman.
Right.
He is. He may not do what's best for the financial situation of the United States. Maybe not. But can he go in there and do something that, if he could go in there and finagle a deal, whatever because he said we have a plan. He wasn't going to go into detail what that plan was because it's probably some shady shit that you don't want to know.
There's no telling.
Because he's probably like, okay, who are the 10 people that we could just and this war
done
over. Instead of making it a mass media it's just okay, Putin, you want it, you want to do this? This is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the fear tact. You know, it's kind of like, is Kamala going to go over there and use that? Because she doesn't have that. I don't know. She may have a general or she may have a military guy. I don't know.
Yeah,
you know, but 3.5 years, like you would think if she was going to have peace talks, that would have already happened because it seems like it's gotten worse. Like the whole Ukraine situation, the Israel situation, like, you know, I think, you know, he's like, oh, she hates Israel. He's like, what? Dude, it's just like, I can't imagine being like, if you're just completely uninformed and you are like believing everything, you're just like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You know, like, she hates Israel. That's not true. And you're like, ah. And then he's like, she does.
I know.
That's true.
I know. That was another thing too. It's like you start to wonder. It's like, what can I even believe? You know?
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
What is really the truth?
Yeah, she doesn't hate. Like,
No,
nobody hates
no,
me.
yeah.
Like, I don't feel that anybody's that like. At this point in life, like, why would you hate?
Why?
Yeah.
It's like, what's the purpose? Why?
Yeah, why would you waste your exhaustion on being like, I don't like
Hate
certain type of people? Like,
Yeah.
no, yeah. Anyway, so that's, I mean, that kind of segues 20 minutes.
We can probably.
We did 20 minutes?
Yeah. I think we've done like 30.
Oh, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Woo!
We can probably talk more in depth, maybe next episode, a little bit more about the debate.
So, like, can they hear us good on that thing?
I think it's okay.
I think it's.
When I pulled it up on the computer, it was okay.
But when we get the headphones,
That'll be way better. Yeah.
we still have to record with that phone, or we gotta. Like,
Eventually we're gonna have to get an actual camera. Yeah, Noah's gonna have to.
So can we just do a whole show of like funny Instagram?
Yeah.
We have to have copyrights for that stuff.
That's something I don't know.
Dude, it'd be funny just to do a whole hour.
Yeah.
Of just
Yeah. I don't know. I know there's specifics with YouTube with copyright stuff, and we just have to read. Yeah, I don't know what the exact rules are.
Well, I guess they just. What
Well,
if they
it's
just
like
take
with,
it
like-
off?
Yeah.
Could you
just
edit it and then put it back on, or would they be
Maybe.
like, no?
Yeah.
User or hood.
Maybe. Yeah. I know with like songs, like if we did the Doors, you know, the intro.
We gotta have an intro.
Yeah.
And an outro.
Yeah, we gotta film.
And we gotta put probably some breaks in between subjects and stuff like that.
Yeah. When we get our sponsorships.
We get sponsors. But do you want to say what they want you to say?
Well, it's like the Dana White thing with the Peloton.
Yeah.
They're trying to force him to say something. It's like, take every Peloton out of the gym right now. So if we don't like it, we just say you're not sponsoring.
I think the sponsoring would be tricky because, like I said, like we have a lot of clients that are competitors.
Right.
So if you get a, you know, if you're like, this is brought to you by XXX in the construction industry. Well, then the guy that we're not advertising, what the hell? I mean, because we've ran into that a couple, the last.
Pay for an advertising spot.
That's true.
They can pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely could do a financial advisor.
Yeah, we get too
I
many.
see. Like, how much I'll go mud wrestle?
Yeah.
Whoever wins
gets the spot.
No, I mean, I think we could get. I don't really like. What do we need the money for though?
We don't.
Yeah,
I mean, we're doing this just
we
for
don't
your
need
enjoyment.
Yeah, we can pay for the podcast equipment.
Yeah.
Presenting sponsor,
Yeah.
Hood CPA.
Yeah. So
I mean, I guess if people wanted to get their name out there, but
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like a selling thing. You
Well,
know,
and like we said in the beginning, we're not selling anything.
yeah, and I don't want to bring people on here for them to promote their business.
Promote their stuff.
No, I want to talk to them like they're human.
Right.
You know, like tell me what you think about the debate.
Yeah.
Don't pump your company.
Right.
Like, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a totally
different.
We'll probably like when we look back 6 months from now, some guys will be sitting over here talking like
we've got 4 breaks.
come buy lumber from lumberyard.com. You know, we've completely sold out. They're probably sellouts.
Yeah. No, well, we'll still have good content.
We're not paying anybody to be on the show.
No.
Zero.
What if Joe Rogan? If we could pay for Joe Rogan to come on the show?
Well, I mean that's different.
Yeah.
I mean we'd have to take out a loan probably to pay somebody like that.
I feel like he knows too much. He just.
Well, there's some guy. What's his name? Like Vlad, DJ Vlad.
DJ Vlad. Yeah.
So he had this thing with Marlon Wayans. Did you see that?
I haven't seen the Marlon Wayans.
So he wanted Marlon Wayans on his show, and Marlon Wayans said $40,000. You have to pay him $40,000 and like a percentage of revenue that the show creates. And the guy, it started this huge, like you know, like you think you're worth that for one interview. So 40,000.
Does he pay other people to come on his show?
Yeah. I think
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think they all. I mean, obviously 40,000 is a lot.
Well, like for instance with Joe Rogan's show, I doubt
I don't
he's
think
having
he
to
pays
pay
anybody.
anybody.
Nah, I doubt he pays anybody to come on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless the guy that was at Area 51 or whatever, he
Bob
might have had.
Lazar?
Yeah, that Bob Lazar guy might have
Yeah.
been like, "I'll step out of here for $100,000."
Yeah.
Yeah, because he doesn't like to talk about it.
Yeah.
So like, I would say he had to have there was some incentive
Mm-hmm.
for him to go back and do that again
Yeah.
and keep talking about it,
Right.
and regurgitate
It's one of
it.
my favorite podcasts ever.
That's a pretty good
That and Alex Jones.
That guy's crazy.
He's crazy. He's full blown.
Dude's crazy.
He's crazy.
I feel like that's the type of personality you need for these things to be successful.
Yeah.
You have to be outlandish and make wild accusations and just create this total just shit show. Where people are just like, they love you or they hate you. Yeah. They're like, I'll burn his building down, I'll throw rocks through his window. Or they just love, you have to have that, just like, you have to have that thing.
Maybe we should just start saying outlandish things.
Now my mom would get mad at me. She always, when I talk, I give them a hard time for not listening. You know, like, you didn't even support your son, or your husband, or your father. You know, my son's like, I'm always like, you said if I watch 30 seconds, it comes to the View.
So that's the point.
He goes, well, do you talk about? I go, don't ask, just listen. Yeah, like if you want to know, listen. He's like, well, do you talk about the taxes in the presidential debate? I was like, yeah, that's the majority of what the last whole thing was about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't support. So when we blow up, no, they're not supporting you either.
When we go into talking about running a business, starting a business,
let's see what we got here. Yeah,
37.
37. Yeah, we'll go an hour.
Yeah, we can go an hour.
Try an hour. We'll make our football picks since
I've even looked.
this week is very. This week is kind of boring.
Yeah.
There's not much. There's not many. In my opinion, there's not many. There's like Alabama, Wisconsin,
Right.
But yeah, what do you got? Some questions there?
Yeah, I mean, I've just got some basic stuff. I mean, whatever you kind of want to go into, talking about running this business and starting it, and
I guess I could give a little history, and then you could just There's something we were but I mean, so I started CPA practice 5 years ago. This was our 5th anniversary of Hood CPA and Associates. Started with 0 clients and a dream. Started with 0 clients and just a risk. I mean, starting your own business is just it's one of those where you can have like 3 really good days and 4 really bad days, and they're all it's a bipolarism of owning a business, because you could be sitting pretty cash flow wise. And then next thing you know, all these things come out of nowhere. Yeah. And so you just have to kind of be. I think the main thing that has helped me is not wanting to become this like multi-millionaire overnight. And I think that's what gets a lot of people in trouble that start a business and their business is successful, is that they try to 10x.
Outgrow themselves.
Yeah, they try to just. They try to just completely go hard, get in debt, go hard, and then, something happens that the infrastructure fails, and you just kind of start losing control. Right. And so, obviously, we've been successful because of the staff. The staff, like, if it wasn't for Liza, you, Mark, all you, like, I could have never been able to grow it the way it was, because when I first started, my plan was my fat ass in a back closet with the software. I'm just gonna get the software, I'm just gonna start calling people, and whatever I bring in, I don't have any expenses, except me, when I gotta pay myself for the family and the software. So that was my plan, get a computer, but things fell into place. Certain people made mistakes about letting clients go, and it just kind of took off. But I would say, the biggest advantage to owning a small business is in my opinion, with children, 3 kids, is flexibility. Right. I ran into it. I switched jobs 3 times in 1 year because of not being able to be flexible to get my kids and spend time with them. Because I think that's the hardest thing if you're a working parent, is when you're with your kids, you feel like you need to be at work, and when you're at work, you feel like you need to be with your kids. So you're always pushed in a different position. So if you could find that balance. Work-life balance, as they say.
Right.
But truly find that, like, you know, like make sure that, because in my opinion, and this is just rants, obviously, but it's truth. Like, if I'm 60 years old, 55 years old, and I got $400 million, but I got a bad relationship with one of my kids, I have failed.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's not a success life for me. So like that's.
And I'm sure that varies from person to person. So
Yeah.
Like if do they have a family, do they have a wife or husband, whatever, kids, or if they don't, if they're just single and they're focused 100% on their business, obviously they don't need to have as much balance as the person that may have 4 kids and a wife at home, and so they don't have to have as much time where they're trying to, you know, and which there are obviously business owners that have that home life, but they don't spend as much time at that home life as they probably should.
Yeah.
So trying to find that balance is probably very difficult.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because you know, you don't want to be the dad didn't come to my game. He's always at work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, dad had a meeting. You know, and in accounting, you know, yes, you have seasonal parts of the year, but when you own a business, I could wake up and be like, I don't have to be there. I don't have to be there at 8 a.m. Because to me, like. And that's why I try not to make it to where like you're like a robot. It's like I got to be at work by 8, leave at 5. That's my day.
Right.
You know, like try to be, because I think now you can't operate a business that way.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, back in our parents' days and grandparents' days, they worked a job for their whole life.
Right.
They started there at 19, 20. They retired there, everything. But now with social media, recruiters, LinkedIn, you know, like you get pissed off one day. You're gone. You know, and you even got recruiters emailing you, calling you, even when you're not looking for a job. So the accessibility, you know, that's why I was like, a guy told me one time, he's like, don't piss your staff off. That's the one thing in accounting, like I can give you advice on. He's like, don't piss him off. And I'm like, well, at some point you got to be like, you know, that's what sucks is like, because my personality wants to be everybody's friend first. And then boss second or third or fourth, because like I've always been a staff manager, so like I've spent the majority of my life at that level.
Right.
So coming up and being in charge, that transition is hard. Yeah. Because you know you're looking at it from a payroll standpoint of view, from an expense point of view, rather than I got to get this tax return point of view. Right. But when it's a small business and you're having to do all of it. That can be very stressful and time consuming. Yeah. So, I mean, I would say, you know, what we've been able to do is delegate, get everything kind of spread out to good levels. You know, some clients, you know, they don't want to be, you know, delegated to someone else. They want to talk to me, which that's great. That's fine. Yeah. But, you know, like if you grow to a certain amount, there's only so much time.
Exactly. You can't talk to over 1,000 clients about all their stuff, so it has to be delegated. To other people, and you have to have trust in those people too. It's like you said, you know. And I think going back to the beginning of you know, getting this firm started and everything, which everyone that came over with you to help start this, you know, we were in the industry, we knew the workflow, we knew how the processes work. So I think all of us being together, knowing what needed to be done to get the final product out, really helped. Yeah, you know, it's like
having the software.
We knew, you know, to onboard a new client, to get their projects in the system, to completing the projects, to giving the final product, to the billing. Like we had the pieces in place to know what it took
go from front to end.
Exactly. And it's like at that point you just needed to sell. Yeah. You know, you just needed to get the work in because we knew how to make it work.
Which is crazy because it fell into place almost like, I mean, it's either luck or it was by the grace of God. I mean, it really was just the way that it fell into place with being able to get set up. I mean, because we started in August, and we were able to file returns by September 15th. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. If you think about getting an office, getting computers, getting a staff, and just boom, 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 it happened so fast. Yeah. We were going to see movies. Yeah. You know, like the first couple months. Seriously. You and Wiz went saw it at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Because I was like, I don't know. You know, I was like, well, might as well take advantage of it. You know, which is not like that anymore. But
which, you know, and obviously I don't want to take away from what's been done so far, but just in the beginning, I think probably a lot of business owners or new business owners, especially going into the industry, maybe they don't know.
Yeah.
How many years experience did you have in accounting before we started?
Like 22.
20, yeah.
20,
so it's like you knew exactly what needed to be done.
Yeah.
And so,
well, I've been in so many different environments too that I saw how the traditional older accountant operated and how micromanaged those firms were and why people left. And so I got to experience that, and then I got to go experience a big firm, and they're just total, you know, like just work 70 hours a week, just freaking smoke shop, you know, you're just keying data entry, right. And you never really rose to understand what you were doing. You were just, you know, you're just freaking churning and burning.
Yeah.
They billed you out at $250 an hour and paid you $40.
Yeah.
You know, and so it was all, you know, realization and all that stuff. So I saw that, and then, you know, obviously I saw what it was like to be from, you know, to a even more like between a middle-sized firm and a big firm, and work with a totally different environment, right. Where it was like, you know, where I was forced to input the client to bill the client.
Yeah.
So, you know, you go from, you know, knowing all those levels in an accounting firm. So yeah, it's just, you can kind of mold into, you know, this didn't seem to work over here. You know, but this totally made sense why they did this.
Right.
You know, and there's some things that as we grow, you know, we're kind of at that point where if we got to grow, there's something drastic. It's like another partner or another, you know,
right.
or another office location.
Right.
But like, I like kind of where we are. I mean, people say, if you ain't growing, you're dying.
Right.
You know, so, you know, oh God.
Right.
But I hate this.
And that's probably, would you say that's probably one of the biggest struggles or growing pains, rather, is trying to figure out, you know, at what point it's like, hey, if we're at a good holding point where it's like we can manage the work that we've got, and then trying to make that decision, hey, if I grow it by an extra $500,000, how many employees is that going to take? Like, is that probably one of the biggest struggles?
Yeah, I mean, there's certain analytics that you can look at to see, like, you know, a certain amount of tax returns requires this many hours from a staff. Do you want your staff working 50 hours a week during tax season? Or do you want to push it to they're working 60, or do you want to push it to they're working to where they're going to kill you? You know, because like that was my thing, was like I never really wanted to get it to where you were working in the 60 to 70.
Right.
Which I know there's times that happens, but the goal was to put the metrics in, the analytics in, to where we're only taking in the amount of clients to where nobody's working those crazy 70 hours. Because like, it's hard to have a family. It's like, you can't go on spring break, you can't go on fall break, you can't do anything from, I mean, because then you think about it, because at a small firm, it's not seasonal. I mean, people are pounding us May, June, July. November, December, you're doing planning.
You really slow down.
So you don't slow down. And that was what was different from this firm, you know, having this firm and working at these type, you know, smaller firms to working at the bigger firms. The bigger firms, you know, they have that. Like, you're going to grind it from February to April 15th.
Right.
I mean, you're working 70, 75 hours a week.
Yeah.
You know, they're like,
Don't get up
dinner will be served tonight.
Yeah.
So that means your ass is staying there. You know,
yeah.
But, you know, those, you know, that's straight them looking at what's your billable rate and what am I going to charge the client.
Right.
I mean, it's straight. They look at the realization and they think, okay, well, if he works 70 hours at this rate and then we bill him out at this, you're the asset. You know, the employee is the asset.
Yeah.
You know, you are who we are. The partners are making money from. So when you get away from that mindset, because I worked for some lady that was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when it came to time. There was a fire drill, and she would come out of her office because she would miss 30 minutes. I'm not joking, man. She was crazy. You would drive past her office at 10 o'clock at night. She's still in there. I mean, she billed from sun up to sundown. I sat there with her on a Saturday, and she sat there for like an hour over like $500 entry, and I was just like,
immaterial
office supplies. You know, like, what are we doing? Do you bill a client for that? Like, I'm gonna spend an hour and charge you $500 to try to find out where a $500 expense goes. So things like that are like, you've got to, I think as an accounting business owner, you've got to, and that's in everything, like you got to figure out where you got to spend your time.
Sure.
Like if you spend your time just, you're so focused on something that's not making you money,
right,
then you got to kind of come out of yourself and be like, hey, like, even marketing, marketing's been huge, and marketing for accounting it's not like marketing for
a construction company.
Yeah, construction company or Botox or, this is you kind of got to come off a certain way.
Sure.
You're dealing with the IRS.
Right.
It's like that's been thing that we've been like, I feel like we've tried to stay like not going 100 miles an hour, but going the speed limit, maybe above it a little bit.
Yeah.
Try to spend some money to that. But I would say, every industry is different when you're starting a business. I think people that just hop into it, and you obviously need experience, like you need to put in your time, like you need to have a background knowledge of what you're doing, like just hopping into like
the hemp industry.
Perfect example. I think starting a business, and we could get into the details of how to start the business, and if you want to create an LLC, and and so just simply if you have an idea and you think it's a great business and you're ready to, the thing is you have to commit. You have to care and you have to commit, and you can't just half-ass it. So if you've decided that I'm going to start this business and it's going to be XYZ Inc., then you go get your bank account. The bank's going to say, I need your articles of incorporation, your EIN number. So, you're going to have to either work with an accountant like us, work with an attorney, or you could kind of go online and try to figure it out yourself. But you need to do, think of a name, think of a nice name, see if it's available, go to the state, get set up with that, and then go get your IRS EIN number, and then set up your bank account.
If you've got partners, operating agreement,
all
your basic foundational administrative stuff.
So that's a whole nother conversation. Like if you got partners, you have to have a partnership agreement. Anybody who thinks that they don't need one, it's going to bite you in the ass at some point.
Because you never think it's always sunshine and
just like a marriage. You never think you're going to get divorced.
Oh, we don't need that.
Almost 9 out of 10 partnerships I deal with, in somebody wanting to leave, or somebody thinking they did more work than the other person, and they deserve more. So there has to be a partnership agreement. Like you have to get that in place. If you don't, then you're just being you're being extremely naive to how greedy people can get. Once the business gets up and gets really going, then people, he went to Cancun. I didn't get to go to Cancun. It just gets it can get very petty and so you need a partnership agreement to have a upfront contract, as they say. Like here's how things are going to roll. Like you're gonna be the sales guy, and I'm cool with that. I know you're not going to be in the office. I know you're not going to be doing the grunt work, but I know you're going to be selling, and I'm cool with you being the operations guy. I know you're not going to bring in one client, and I'm cool with that. So like having that, kind of understanding, and obviously the money, But after you get the business set up, you have to have an accountant, in my opinion. I think if you try to wing it and do QuickBooks yourself and keep up with your stuff yourself, you get to a point where you're spending more time, as they say, in the business than on the business. So you're spending time doing bank reconciliations, coding your transactions, figuring out, did I make any money? Am I spending the time in the right places? Like I lost money this month. How the heck? Having somebody, it's worth the investment, and usually the price is very fair for beginning business. But I think it's an exciting time. It's also stressful. You obviously want to finance your business. You don't want to start out with. It's hard to start a business with no sort of nest egg. So I think that's one thing we can help people with too is underwriting at banks and things like that. But if you're starting a business and you're starting with just your money, that's tough.
Yeah.
You know, so
if you don't have, like you said, if you don't have a pretty big nest egg, depending on what industry you're going into, but the majority of industry, if you're undercapitalized, you can fail very quickly.
Very quick. Because I mean, you're not going to make really a profit year one. You might not make a profit year two, but you know, things will start turning around. So yeah, you have to. You might have to eat ramen noodles and, you know, some year 1 and 2, and then, you know, kind of put this up. But if you're fully invested and you fully care about something, I truly believe that it won't fail.
Yeah.
You know, I think that if you spent if that's all you're doing, and this is what, like, I don't see, you're going to figure it out because you care and you know the industry. So, you know, and people, like, I'm the worst at it. Like, don't burn bridges. Like, you know, I'm not good at that. Like, you know, somebody, I feel disrespected, or I feel like they're not disrespected. I feel like they're not respecting us and valuing us. Then I'm quick to fire them. Yeah. You know, because I don't feel like I don't want to waste any more emotional space with arguing about our pricing or about something. So yeah, I'm really quick to do that, but I probably need to do it. And there's different ways to approach it. But everybody's got their faults. But that's I'll fire. So, you know, I'll fire quick. Yeah. And honestly, starting a business, you know, when you start a business, you'll almost take anything. But it's the people that's closest to you that want you to do their stuff for nothing. That will drag you down. Yeah. They'll drag you down, man. Yeah. I've been down that road so many times. Like, they want you to do it for nothing. People you go to church with, people you go to, you know, and then next thing you know, it's like, all right, you're either going to get stepped on, or you got to do the stepping.
You know, that's in every industry.
I think it's in every industry. I think just you have certain personalities though that either are going to tolerate it or not tolerate it. Yeah. And people can ignore that type of stuff. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, and ours is probably different just because it's a product and it's got, you know, like if it's the construction industry, you're probably not going to build your buddy a house for nothing. Right. You know, like, or if you're in the...
You may give them at cost material.
Like if you're a realtor, your percentage is what your percentage is. I don't think you can really
manipulate it,
fluctuate it, but they're still going to expect you to be on call.
Good buddy. Buddy. Give me the good buddy.
Hey, you're a builder. Yeah. Hey, what do you know, a window guy that can get, you know? Yeah. So, I mean, those are the situations that's hard because, you know, once you get into a business transaction with friends, then if it goes sour, it's ruining everything. Right. So those are some little pitfalls that have been in my, you know, like it's for tax. You get ask me a tax question daily. Mm-hmm. You know, some people when we first started, it was just constant text. You know, and I'm fine. It's just like at some point I charge you.
Well, it's like, and we say this all the time. You know, hey. Because people will call and say, hey, I got a quick question.
Yeah, quick question.
It's like, if we did that with 10 people, 15 people, that's taking up half of my day. Yeah. And I've made no money. If I don't charge you for that, I don't make any money for half the day. Yeah. So it's like that stuff quickly adds up. Yeah. And so many, you know.
Well, because I mean, if you're a construction guy, I don't know why we keep going to construction, but it's the easiest one. I mean, if you're a construction guy and I call, that's why they don't do custom. Yeah. You know, everybody, you know, every builder you talk to, I'm not going to do custom no more because they're going to, you know, it's like you do a spec home. It is what it is. Right. You go in there, it's the same damn layout. Right. You know, but if you want to start putting a front porch on here and put a bedroom up here and you want rails going down here, like, you know, like that just, you know, that wears on you after a while. But yeah, quick question, you know, but with a construction, there's an end product that he can sit there and manipulate that price with add-ons all day long. See, I think with us it's hard because our bill is our bill, and it comes either before or after the return. And if you're a new client and you don't ask what our prices are, I think sometimes we get in the spot where they're like $600. Yeah. You know, it's like if I go get my car fixed and I leave it there for them to fix it, I'm probably going to ask them what it costs to fix it. Yeah, for sure. Before I come there and they say, hey, by the way, it's $6,000. Like, oh shit! Oh my God. Like I want to turn it into insurance. You know, so like I think that's one thing with business in general is just having that upfront meeting with people to get an understanding of what you're doing. Because I've failed so many times of just making the sale and then just. Done, boom, never even talked about the price, never talked about the expectations.
So do you think, leading into that is kind of leading my next question, do you think that is the biggest pain or biggest issue in business is the billing, the AR, the dealing with the invoicing.
In our industry,
what area of the business do you think is the biggest pain in the butt?
God, it depends on what day it is. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like during tax season, it's just the push.
Mm-hmm.
It's the push. Like, being a small firm, like January's 1099s. Just hearing 1099s. You got from, like the year ends at 12/31, and you got to get 1099s out in 30 days.
In a month, yeah.
And so then, people don't start contacting you until the 28th day.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I need 400 1099s pumped out in 2 days. So then, obviously I don't feel that, but I feel the pressure from a different way than like Eliza does or whoever's doing it.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I would say the billing part of it to me is not uncomfortable because a lot of people don't like to talk about money.
Yeah.
Accountants, it's a joke, like we deal with money, but we don't like to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will cave on their prices, but I've gotten better. Like year 1 and year 2, somebody was like, hey man, can you haggle with me here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now it's like no, like once we do that, then it's kind of. But yeah, no, I'd say, I mean, right now we are structured very better than we ever have been as far as on a tax returns, bookkeeping, audits, reviews, all that stuff. Like that's me, but but I think when we weren't, that was the most stressful.
Yeah. When
you get an employee that you don't trust or that you feel like it's taking advantage of you, to me that's the most stressful.
Gotcha.
That's what makes you get
the
up
HR side. Potentially.
Yeah. I mean employees. I mean just making sure everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Making sure because you can't really, as they say, make accounting sexy.
Yeah.
Like there's only 2 things you could really do to make employees happy, and that's money and time off.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it is what it is. Like we're not gonna throw pizza parties.
Right.
Nobody wants to hang out with each other. But you see each other every day. It's like, hey, it's Friday night. Let's all y'all don't want to see me.
You just work 60 hours.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just, I think to me with mine, it's just making sure because if the staff's happy, they're probably going to make the clients happy.
Right.
And then if the clients aren't bitching, because that's how I find out if things are not running well is clients start complaining.
Yeah.
And so as long as that's minimal, there's really honestly the most stressful thing is now that I own a building is making sure the damn plumbing works and making sure we got tenants and making sure just kind of running around doing those type of things. But I would say, cash flow is always a kind of a stressful. I mean, obviously you want to make payroll, but I mean, to me, I'm an accountant and I'm very, with money, I'm pretty simple. It's like, I want to stay at X and I'm going to keep my cash flow pretty healthy.
Right.
A lot of people out there don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They want to, if they got $600,000 in the bank, they're going to go, invest it somewhere, or and in which that's totally preference.
Right.
Me, I like to sleep easy at night.
Yeah.
When I go to bed, I like to know that I got, no matter what goes wrong, my people are paid, my software's paid, my rent's paid, my mortgage payment's paid, those type of things. So I think, at the beginning, it was like, oh shit, because you wanted to be, and you're used to operating at a certain level. And so having to because once you get to a lifestyle living, you don't want to go backwards.
Sure.
And I see a lot of clients that, once they hit that lifestyle, and then they turn around and they got to pay tax. That's a big deal to them. So I mean, it's once you get your expectations up, going backwards for a lot of business owners is just very, very stressful.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to make less revenue than you did last year.
No.
So it depends on how motivated you are, but it's I would say as far as the biggest pains, I mean, obviously it's the repetitive questions. And I'm sure every industry gets that. I mean, how many times has probably a realtor been called and said, "Well, Zillow says," and so it's the same thing with us. It's like, well, I Googled the other day, or I ranted about, I Facebooked the other day, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So just those repetitive, and when things go sour, at the end of the day, we're dealing with people's money.
Right.
So you see, it's almost like when like the worst side of parents are at their kids' ball games.
Right, yeah.
The worst side of
Oh, yeah.
you deal with people's money.
Yeah.
Sure. It's pretty stressful. So somebody that wasn't prepared and you didn't tax plan for, and then you go to file their return,
And they owe,
that's a bad day.
Yeah. It is.
You don't want to have that, and you have to. You have to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Just pump them in the email. Be like, by the way, you owe $622,000. Send. I said, don't call. And then you went back and you're like, did you do planning with them? Please God, do planning with them.
Yeah.
But that was we got to. Okay, let's roll on. Football picks.
How much time are we at?
Oh, I need to leave.
You gotta leave?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can do football picks real fast.
Okay.
Real fast.
Pull up.
I got, we're an hour and 6, dude. Dude, we're freaking chatty Cathy's.
Let's go to.
Think anybody will listen to that whole thing?
I think so. It's pretty good. Let's go to.
You want me to give you my picks?
Yeah, let's hear it.
South Carolina +7 at
Who they
home.
play?
At home versus LSU.
Ooh.
South Carolina +7.
Ooh.
Dude, it's a night game.
They whooped up
They
on
killed
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
They whooped up on Kentucky
Kentucky
at
probably
Kentucky, right? It was at Kentucky? Yeah.
South Carolina, I watched that game. They look pretty good. And it's a night. Remember what happened to us a couple years ago?
Yeah.
We went into Gamecock country.
That's
It's a
true.
night game.
Okay, I can see +7 there.
Texas A&M -4.5 at Florida. I love that.
Florida
Gig 'em.
look good. It's at the Swamp.
Gig
I don't
'em.
think it really matters right now.
Gig 'em.
I'll go A&M.
Yeah. Memphis +6.5. Shit, I don't even know who they play. But I like them at 6.5.
What about Alabama, Wisconsin +16 Wisconsin?
I don't know. Dude, I wouldn't bet on that one. Where is it? Is it like in a neutral site?
It's at Wisconsin.
Randall Stadium, Camp Randall Stadium. 16.5.
What do you think on that?
I mean, honestly, if I was to do what I do and go to my betting app, I would go. I really like Wisconsin, so I'm taking Alabama.
Yeah.
Like
See, I can
16.5.
I can see
Just
them
seems
coming
like
out
a
and just
lot of
killing
points, but I could see Alabama winning by 20 for sure.
Yeah.
So if you were like, Ryan, you gotta bet on this game, I'd say I'm taking the Tide.
Okay.
But my picks are pretty simple. Yeah, Oklahoma -13.5 and Virginia -3.
Who's Oklahoma play?
So Oklahoma's got Tennessee next week. So I'm thinking
Right.
they played like shit last week. They barely beat
Houston. Yeah.
Yes, I think Oklahoma takes care
Play
of business.
Tulane.
Yeah, Tulane, the Green Wave.
The Green Wave.
Is that the one in New Orleans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna kill them.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
take them -13.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's in Norman.
Yeah.
-13.5. What was the Memphis one? I liked Memphis. They were playing somebody that's typically decent, but I thought sucked. Oh, Florida State. Memphis.
Oh, yeah.
Memphis is 2-0 at Florida State. 0-2, getting 7 points. I'm taking Memphis all day. I think Florida
I think
State
so.
is donezo.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to win, even though I gave a speech the first episode 1. But then Virginia -3. I think Virginia's pretty good. I think they're a sleeper team.
You think?
Dude, there's too much talent in the state of Virginia for them not to have a good football team.
Yeah.
There's so many athletes in
They
Virginia.
play who?
Virginia. Meet Virginia. Maryland. Maryland's 1-1. Virginia's at home. They're 2-0. They're actually Maryland's favored, so Virginia's getting 3 at home.
I'll take the Virginia.
Maryland, it's Maryland.
Yeah.
They suck.
You said Virginia's getting 3?
Yeah.
At home?
At
Okay, I'll
home.
take it. I'll take it.
I'm telling you, Virginia at some point is going to have a good team.
Have a good team.
They have to. It's a fucking. I mean, how do you not have a good team? You're the like that. That state is loaded.
Yeah.
Fucking Michael Vick.
Yeah.
They couldn't even get him. He goes to Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech. Yeah. I know.
Virginia's got to be.
I don't know.
Yeah. I would. There's some other ones in there, but those are
Boston College, Missouri. Missouri's giving Boston College 16.5.
Like we were talking about Missouri the other day. Like
Missouri looks good.
Yeah, they're number 6.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. So we're number 7 in the country and 6 in the SEC. Is that what we are?
Probably.
Yeah.
Isn't that scary?
Tennessee. Yeah.
There's 6 SEC schools in the top 10 right now.
That's correct. Yeah, because
yeah, Texas.
I forgot about Missouri when I was thinking of all the teams.
Missouri, Tennessee, Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ole Miss gonna be tough.
They are gonna be tough.
I think they're gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Unless Kiffin gets charged for messing with the co-ed, they're gonna be all right.
It could happen.
Yeah, Tennessee plays Kent State. What about Auburn? Auburn got beat by Cal.
By Cal, I know. By a touchdown.
Auburn's favored by 28 points over New Mexico. They said the worst 3 quarterbacks in the country are
28.
Yeah,
Honestly.
They said the worst 3 quarterbacks. I read something was Auburn's quarterback, Michigan's quarterback, and DJ Ungale.
Yeah.
Those three were like, because I didn't even notice the Michigan quarterback, but he looks like freaking Cam Newton. He's a monster.
Oh, I didn't know.
The Michigan quarterback,
he is.
he's a big dude.
Huh.
He could fall forward and get 5 yards.
Oh, he's
just
really?
fall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Texas killed him.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC.
In the SEC.
And they're good this year.
I know.
Like, it's not like they're having an off year. Like,
I know.
Texas is going to be up there in the top 2, 3 in the country all
They're
year.
number 3, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right now? Yeah.
Yeah, who's 2?
You got Georgia, then Texas. Who is 2?
I don't know. It's got to be
Ole Miss was, Missouri's 6.
Ohio State, maybe?
Oh, okay. Maybe it is Ohio State.
Always Ohio
I
State.
think it is Ohio State.
Yeah.
Well, any other games you saw that looked?
No, I think that's good. NFL, dude. NFL just.
Yeah, my fantasy team ended up winning this week.
Yeah?
They're pretty solid.
Your fantasy
No,
team?
they're not.
You need, when we to put it up on here.
Oh, no, we need to, once we get
Once
the
we get
whole
this
set up, we'll get this part of the podcast.
I think I literally lost every game on Sunday, except one.
Yeah.
And even Sunday night continued Monday night. I was on the wrong end. Like, it seemed almost every favorite one.
Yeah.
You notice that?
Yeah.
Like, Kansas City won Thursday night, Eagles won Friday night.
Yeah.
Sunday night, it was the Lions covered.
Yeah.
Monday night, 49ers covered.
Right.
All the favorites covered, it seemed like. And usually, I think they said last year, like 75 to 80% of the games were under 4 points. They're not crazy in the NFL.
Dang,
that's why when
I'm not surprised.
When I see 4.5, 5, I'm like, boop.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take that because all of them win. Like, NFL, you'd be stupid to not take the money line if it was like -2 or 3. Like, don't bet it.
Right.
Like, if it's -3, they're going to win by 1 or 2.
Right.
Like, it's happened so many times. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. I hate the NFL when there's a touchdown or more. Like, because you always, like Dallas and the Saints, the Cowboys and the Saints, -6.5. Who fucking knows? You know, like, who knows? Like, so I just take Dallas money line and get a less payout.
Yeah.
You know, that would be my. But yeah, I don't see anything that, like, I mean, the Titans.
I feel like I find
Titans look
myself
horrible.
Yeah, I find myself taking money line.
What's up, Papa Smurf?
Right
Are you cutting this off?
Right on time.
Is it going to take 3 days to upload to YouTube?
Probably.
All right, let's close it out. We know when Cruella comes in. Cruella Blueville.
Talking about Cruella, have you seen that new movie called The Deliverance with Glenn Close in it? It's on Netflix.
Yeah,
right now.
that's what I was telling you about.
That's
yeah.
what he was talking about, yeah.
Remember I was like talking about if you're going to watch one where they get possessed, it's like a true story. That was the same. Yeah, that was the one I was talking on Netflix. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I watched it.
Have you seen the actual woman get interviewed?
No.
Is that off? Just watch it. It doesn't seem very credible.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She came out like a couple of days ago. And she was like, girl, the things was climbing up the wall. And you're just like,
nah. You drank too much that night.
Yeah, she was like, he started like moonwalking up the back of the wall, and I was like, why did you speak like
So have you seen there's a documentary out on Netflix right now about one of the Conjuring movies? The Arnie guy, it was The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah.
Have you seen that documentary?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, so the family came out and like it's kind of split. Like two of the brothers were like, the brother was possessed by the devil. He was doing all this crazy stuff, and then the demon went from this brother to the girl or the sister's boyfriend, who then ended up killing the guy.
The actual hunters?
Do what?
The actual people that had the house?
Yeah.
Lorraine?
Yeah, Lorraine and whatever, Ed Warren.
Lorraine Bobbitt?
Yeah. No, Warren is their last name.
Oh, she was the guy. She's the one
That's
that cut,
Lorena.
she's the one that cut the slang off.
Yeah. So anyway, that documentary is good. Yeah.
What is it called? Where is it on?
It's called
Netflix?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the documentary is called The Devil at Trial is what the documentary is called.
How did a documentary like that so fascinate me? I feel like I have watched
it.
There's one on HBO about this guy Norman something, but it is the most disturbing thing, and you can get into do you believe in the death penalty?
Mm-hmm.
This dude should have been shot in the face.
Oh wow!
He was is just the awful human. He was just psycho.
Yeah.
It was something like Devil something.
Yeah.
But it's been on or The Monster Inside or something like that.
I've seen some of those.
Yeah. That one is. It's like 4 episodes of this guy just. He liked to dress up as a woman and go into these little girls' rooms and kill them. Yeah, it's anything with kids. Death.
Yeah.
100%.
There's no rehabilitation.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We're not letting you back out and you did that shit. Nope.
Yeah.
Not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not. Even if it's like any sort of pedophile.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to be out here.
No.
I don't think they need to be on the street.
No.
You can talk about rehab and all you want. Rehab at a facility somewhere.
Yeah.
Not out in the general
prison.
public. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can rehab in prison.
Let Leroy beat your ass in prison. You're not out here on the playground.
Yeah, no. I think there should be zero tolerance for that.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Zero tolerance.
Yeah, and you talk about that on the debate.
Yeah.
They talk about those type of things.
Talk about the judicial system.
Reinstate eye for an eye.
Yeah.
That would stop that.
It would.
It would stop a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tooth for a tooth.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tooth. Yeah.
Great.
What I was gonna say.
Should we end it?
Yeah.
You should wrap it up now.
Wrap it up.
Episode 3 concluded.
Cut.